Christopher Schindler has a chance to write his name in Huddersfield Town legend. And he takes that chance!
Hello and welcome to a pint-sized preview sponsored by Magic Rock Brewing on Huddersfield's opponents this season. And in this episode, we'll focus on Birmingham City. Before we get into it, though, let's hear the quick word from Blues Focus.
Hi, I'm Tommy from Blues Focus, and this is my review of the 2022-23 season at Birmingham City. There's never a dull moment at the Blues. As you may be aware, our owners, BSHL, have made it clear they want to sell their shares and move on after their disastrous 6-year reign at the club. The two main consortiums in the running are Maxi Lopez and Paul Richardson, a lifelong Blues fan, and the one, of course, grabbing all the headlines, Lawrence Bassini, who lost the trust of many Blues fans early after his car crash of an interview on TalkSport with Jim White and Simon Jordan. He assertively stated he was going to buy the club, win the league, and also accuse Simon Jordan of murder. Never a dull moment at the Blues. Unsurprisingly, his bid fell through, so Lopez and Richardson came in and swept things up. It's difficult to say what we can expect from Richardson and Lopez just yet. There's little evidence of where they're getting their funds from, as well as the odd appointment of Matt Southall as CEO. But BSHL didn't give communication, and Paul Richardson has offered the stats before he's even took over. So hopefully he can continue that in these tough times. The obstacle, of course, that they're going to be faced with immediately is the massive debts that the club owe, as well as the closed Cop and Tilton stands. It's really what dulled last season, and the atmosphere we had at St Andrews was gone. If reopened, it would be a triumph for them, and they would easily win the respect of the fans. Really hope that they do, because it's a sorry sight seeing that every week. As of recording, we've currently made 4 signings. Austin Trusty, Przemyslaw Placheta, I think that's how you say his name, a smart signing in John Ruddy, and Dion Sanderson returns for his second loan spell at the club. I'm hoping Sanderson can commit a similar contribution because he was great when he first arrived. Ruddy's got good Premier League experience and looks to become our new number 1 after Neil Etheridge's contract states that he must get a pay rise after a certain amount of games in which he's nearing. It's just bad business again. Although it's not very optimistic, I would just be happy with staying in the division this season. I've seen other people say that we're going to go down, and I can understand why. We've not finished higher than 17th in the past 6 seasons. And of course I want the new manager, John Eustace, to do as well as he can, but it does look like a monster of a challenge right now. He has half a team to play with, half a ground to play in, and there's rumours he may not even be starting the season, as Richardson and Lopez could be looking for replacements already. Once again, never a dull moment. Unfortunately, my gut tells me that we're for the chop this season, and I've watched in the past few years as the club has declined due to lack of attention and care, it seems, leaving once again us fans to suffer, like so many other clubs. But we'll be there. Join us for the roller coaster here on Blues Focus next season. Keep right on.
Right, thanks to them for that. Tom, you've had a look at Birmingham City in a bit more detail.
I have. I've delved into the Brummies. It was quite interesting. When you ask for a key player, I don't know who I look at in that squad, Matt. It looks quite thin at the moment, and quite an aging squad from what I got from it. So, I mean, this is very Town, this of me, but I went for their key player would be Bakuna, because in the back of my mind, you're always thinking maybe one day he'll have a really good season and he can do something, because we all know what's there. But he was the only really person that stood out for me. A lot of players who were there last season, none of the signings really got me excited. I mean, John Ruddy's come in, who's obviously going to compete with Etheridge, I think. But other than that, there's that Odin Bailey who's come back on loan from his time up in Livingston in Scotland, and apparently he did quite a good shift up there. So he might be a bit of a positive for him going into the season. They lost that Sunjic, was it Sunjic, who was quite a stalwart for him for the last couple of seasons. And he's gone on loan to Hertha Berlin, which I found quite interesting. Felt a bit like Aaron Moy to Brighton kind of on loan situation or something. And then the managerial situation, John Eustace. I mean, Brady literally sent me this a couple of hours before recording, but they're already saying that he might be off because they're looking to have that takeover coming on. Which is also looking quite interesting. Maxi Lopez, which is weird, and Paul Richardson, who owns a clothing company. So who knows? Birmingham City, they're leaving it a bit late though, so their odds for the season aren't looking good though, Matt. So they're one of the favourites to go down. And I think that's why I think I've predicted them in kind of the bottom 6 this season.
Do you other guys think? Brady, take it away.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree. I think Birmingham have flirted with relegation for a couple of seasons now. There's a lot of teams in the league that have off the field problems, and I think that kind of spills into everything you do. And Birmingham at the moment, although the takeover's waiting to go through, they are poorly run. Obviously, Lee Bowyer's left, John Eustace in, but don't know if he's going to be there. I think it's obviously we don't know what happens with this takeover, but at the time of recording, I think they're a relegation candidate for me. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in League One next season.
Yeah, no, I a lot depends on the takeover, because when you come into a club like that, you have to remember how long the window is still open at the time of this recording, and I think they might want to make a bit of a splash, and you might see a couple of decent players coming in, which could make all the difference. I don't think they're going to have a stellar season, because I think there's probably 3 windows worth of work needs doing on that squad longer term, but I could see, certainly if they're struggling in January, I could see the new owners rolling the dice and getting a load of players in. So, yeah, I think sort of lower mid-table after a long flirt with relegation.
Yeah, I'm with Dave. I think the takeover is positive. I think it's very good for Birmingham that Lawrence Bassini hasn't got his hands on them. But otherwise, we'd have been predicting 24th, I think, if he'd have managed to take over. I listened to a little interview with Paul Richardson, and he reminds me very much of a Dean Hoyle type figure. He seems to be very grounded and very sensible, and he's talking about putting the correct building blocks in place rather than being flash and going out and getting this and that and that. So I think he understands what needs to be done, and I think he understands Birmingham City being a fan. So I think that is really key that fully goes through. And I think if it does, then there's positives for Birmingham City, but I still think they're going to be looking over the shoulder towards the bottom 3 in and around there. But like Dave says, the window is still quite long. So if they don't do any work in it, then they're in trouble. But there's a long time to go, and I'm sure the new owner will identify that. So looking over the shoulder, I think, but maybe good enough to stay up. Right, so that's it, guys. So that's Birmingham City. Let us know what you think in the comments about Birmingham City, and keep an eye out for our new prediction game for the season.